Actually, first I want to do this. I'll just talk about this. IGN put out a Simpsons 34 best Simpsons episode list yesterday. 700 episodes and one theatrical movie. Wasn't an easy task considering how much they've done. Chose from the 34 episodes essential viewing. Even 34 episodes barely scratches the surface. Yeah. Okay, so Homer the Great. I love, can't really blame Homer the Great for shit on Homer the Great at all. It's a great episode. It's funny, it's wacky. I like the cult elements. I like Homer's character in it a lot. I love the fucking scene where they paint the children's hospital sky blue and then the helicopter fucking crashes into it. That's hilarious. It's stupid as hell, but it's funny. It's good. It has a nice little arc at the end where Homer learns that he doesn't need like this big club. He's got his family, which is sweet. It tells a good story. It keeps on the script pretty well. I Love Lisa's just great as well. That's just one of the sweetest episodes. This is the best Ralph they've ever done, because he's dumb and he's a little bit slow for a kid, but he's not a fucking moron that they paint him on later on, where he's just like incapable of breathing if he's not told to. And they definitely flanderize his character a lot, like they do with most of the characters in the show, but I wouldn't put 6 here. Lousy Smarch Weather, Not Touch Willie. I don't know. Nightmare of Imogen Terrace, Homer Cube. The other one was the Attack of the 50-Foot Arseholes, I think, in this one, which is fine. I liked it enough, but I wouldn't. Unless they bring up other ones, if this is the only Jurassic horror they chose, I'd be very confused. Because even out of the golden years, I would put 5, 4, 2, 3 ahead of it. The Homer Cube segment's cool in a vacuum, but looking back on it, it is, oh, Maggie Makes 3 is so sad. I'm surprised they only put that in 31. That's such a fan favorite. I will say about Maggie Makes 3, it's a great episode. And obviously the Do It For Her scene is amazing and incredible and one of the best things ever put on television. I don't think the rest of the episode holds up as well to this scene, but this scene is just so good on its own that I would honestly expect them to put this higher. Lisa the Iconoclast. I like Lisa the Iconoclast. I don't think I like it as much as other people do. Yeah, sometimes you have to let a city have its heroes. I like it. It does have Embiggens though. That's pretty good. And Cromulent. It is a good episode. I don't think I like it as much as other people, but Lisa's arc in that episode is very good. It's a very well written episode. One fish, two fish, blue fish. It's a good episode. It's actually pretty dark. It's a pretty dark episode. Homer thinks he's about to die. I mean, it is a good Homer episode. It does have very sweet moments in it. It does have a lot of good character moments, a lot of good Homer Marge things, Homer Grandpa things in it. Oh, he goes to jail in it, right? Yeah. This episode ended pretty appropriately. Homer's celebrating his second lease on lab pregnancy. Next he's stretched on the cow halfing. Yeah. It's a good episode. It's pretty dark. But I get why they put this here. It's a good episode. Mother Simpson I expected higher. Mother Simpson's so fucking good. That's my favorite ending. That's been my phone's background for like years. I don't know if it will show up on the screen too. That's been the background on my phone for about 10 years maybe at this point. I love that ending. That's the best ending in the show. I prefer that to over Maggie Makes 3. I love this episode. I would put this top 10. King Size Homer is one of the best, just pure funny episodes of the whole show. It doesn't really have much heart to it, but it's out of just the pure funny episodes, this is one of the best ones. Lisa's Wedding's great, the best flash forward episode the show does easily. And the thing that's nice about it is it's just Lisa being told this is what her future's going to be. So there's no like, this is definitely what happens like they do in some of the later ones. Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great. It's the best canonical future that they have. Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1 and 2. I would put this higher too. I love Who Shot Mr. Burns. I love the Twin Peaks references. Twin Peaks is one of my favorite shows as well, other than Simpsons. It's one of my favorite shows. So maybe I'm a bit biased there, but I don't know. I really like Who Shot Mr. Burns 1 and 2. I never saw Dallas though. Alone Again, Natural Did. I would not put this on here. That's a spicy take. That's a... I get that it's a very important one in the Simpsons canon, because it's one of the only episodes that actually changes a lot. But yeah, it's because Maud Flanders moved away from California, so they didn't want to pay her airplane tickets to go and record her lines. Ned's brushed with financial ruin in season 1, though season 3, IGN. Fucking idiots. Yeah, I would not put, this is actually not that great of an episode, and I disagree with its reason for existing, and I don't like the way that Maud dies. I think the way Maud dies is pretty disrespectful I thought it was actually pretty disrespectful to the actress, the way they kill her off. You could have given her a more dignified ending and not made it a joke. Radioactive Man, I love the Hollywood elements. I love they parodied superhero movies in fucking 1995. I didn't know that this was going to be around forever. This is more relevant now than it was back then. I love that episode. Itchy and Scratchy Land, great parody of Jurassic Park and just like Disneyland and Disneyland as a whole. Need more Bort license plates in the gift shop. Repeat, we sold out of Bort license plates. Yeah, Westworld, Jurassic Park, and the Walt Disney Empire. Nothing can possibly go wrong. Possibly go wrong. That's the first thing that's ever gone wrong. Lemon of Troy is great. One of the best like world building episodes. It just feels very full, feels longer. Honestly, this episode could have been a movie if they wanted it to be. If they wanted to. I see a world where they could have stretched this out into an hour and a half if they wanted to. Yeah, I think it's one of the first ones that they actually show Shelbyville as well. Mirror Universe version of Springfield. It's all the right notes in terms of celebrating the particular sense of community being Springfield's mythologized town in history. Yeah, Lemon of Troy, great world building. Great in terms of like the community in Springfield. I love that episode. Homer's enemy should be much higher. This is the perfect one of the perfect Simpsons episodes. It's hilarious, it's great, and it is the best episode that critiques the show as a whole. It's about Frank Grimes representing the real world and Homer Simpson representing the idea of the wacky TV figure that cannot function within the real world. If you bring the real world into The Simpsons and into like the concept of television as a whole, he will break. He cannot exist. He must die. It must reject him, and it is perfect. It is pitch perfect. This should be much higher. This episode is fantastic. When he encountered Homer, happy family man at the house, decent job Grimes didn't have. He didn't want to Grimes snapped. Definitely amazing to see Grimes. Yeah, I feel like they don't get this episode as much. It showed viewers that sometimes life is unfair and people just don't get what they want out of life no matter how hard they struggle. Yeah, I feel like this IGN guy didn't really understand the crux of why this episode is good. Homer versus Lisa and the Eighth Commandment. It's a good episode. Very early, season 2. I wouldn't put this in the top 20, but I see why people would like it. I can't be mad at this pick in any way. It's got a good Homer Lisa thing. I still don't know if I would have done what Homer did at the end. I don't think it matters that much. I think that's why I don't think I like this episode as much as I should, is I'm a bit more on Homer's side than Lisa's side, because at the end of the day, it's like, fuck these cable companies for charging so much. Like, who gives a fuck? Steal from them? Doesn't matter. I don't care. Bart the Lover is great. Also, probably wouldn't have put this one this high, but it is really nice. This is one of the first times you get to see a side character really like expand their role within the show and have like a lot more emotion, a lot more character, and putting that through the eyes of Bart and having him learn. It's something like you have to learn when you're a kid. It's like, you know, your actions do have consequences. What you think is just kind of funny and silly little joke can deeply like hurt and affect someone else, and I don't really blame Bart for that, because I think this is just him learning that part, and I think that's really smart and clever and sweet. Flamingos I fucking love. That's one of my favorite episodes. I love Flamingos so much. I love the Cheers parody in it. I love the way that Mo gets successful, and then like his moral conflict, and then Homer just getting mad, although it does make me frustrated at the end where it's just like, Homer, shut up for just a moment and you can get all that money. But obviously that's not how the show works. You need to return the status quo. Yeah, steady Stephen Graham's and one-liners, nice character growth from Mo until the point of mostly being Sturley bartender. Yeah, there's actually another one. Season 3 is my favorite season, by the way. As much as I'd say the peak of the show is season 3 to 8, but season 3 is my favorite because it's still a bit raw. They're still trying to figure stuff out, but they're expanding, giving a lot more notice to the background characters like Mo, like Krabappel, like Skinner. And I feel that they really brought this like sweetness to season 3, this like tender heart and care to the characters that they didn't really have in a lot of later seasons. They went a bit more in like the wacky, crazy direction in like season 4, 5, and 6. I'd say there is definitely heartfelt, like fucking Lisa on Ice and Maggie Makes 3 is in that thing, and then 7 and 8 had heartfelt episodes as well, but that was much more trying to do self-analysis, metatextual kind of looks at the show, which I also love. But I found season 3 just had this amazing balance of just like heart and humor, and I love season 3. Bart of Darkness, great. Rear Window parody. I watched this way before I even knew what Rear Window was as a movie, so it was kind of funny watching this, knowing it's referencing something but not knowing what it's referencing. And then eventually watching Rear Window, going back to watch this and picking up on all the references is kind of fun. Camp Krusty, I actually watched this the other day when I was kind of hungover. And I was just trying to have it as background, like safe background noise to fall asleep to. And I just couldn't fall asleep because I was just watching the show. Great, I'll watch it again. It's amazing. I love Camp Krusty. I love the ending. The Tijuana. I think it's just like a perfect thing where they just kind of slowly realize just how shitty a situation they actually are in. A Fish Called Selma I like, but yeah, the best part about that is this. What's it? Stop the Planet of the Apes. I want to get off. That's fucking everything about that is pitch perfect. It's so fucking funny. I love it so much. It's a great Selma episode. It's really good. It's nice to get some look into Troy McClure and like why he is, and why he's so weird. And that stuff's good and all, and I like it. It's a great episode, but the Planet of the Apes is the best thing. Yeah, it's easily the highlight of the episode. One of the best things if they've done. I love it. Homer at the Bat's one of my favorite episodes. I would put this personally higher, but I know why people wouldn't. I fucking love it. I never grew up watching baseball. I grew up out of a country where we never really played baseball or softball in any way, so I didn't understand any of the references. This came out 4 years before I was born, so I didn't know who any of these players were, or how good they were, or what their significance was. Despite all of that, I loved it. It's such a great send-up of baseball movies and the baseball sports arc that is just so conducive to storytelling. For some reason, baseball is just like the best sport for filmmaking and writing and everything. It's just great. And I love this episode. Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie Show, one of the best satires, one of the best like self-parodying episodes. And the fact that this episode was in season 8 and it was a parody. Well, not a parody, but a satire about how the show had been going on for too long and it's getting wacky to the point where it must end. Like if you go back and like read Josh Weinstein and Bill Oakley talk about them making season 8, they were like, oh yeah, we thought this is like going to be the natural end of the show. That's why they made these really like self-referential episodes like Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie and Homer the Enemy and City of New York versus Homer Simpson. All of those were very, I know that's season 9, but they made it during season 8. I know that's like a lot of those are great and all that, but they're very like self-referential episodes, and they thought that the show was going to end, because like how many shows go on past 8 seasons, and yeah, look at us now. It should have ended at season 8, if you ask me. You Only Move Twice, great. I don't love this episode as much as a lot of other people do. It's amazing, it's really funny, it's brilliant. Of course, Albert Brooks is the main reason why people talk about it. Ham Scorpio is amazing, and it is also similar to, it's kind of like just the flip side of Homer's Enemy, where it's like the Simpsons can't exist outside of Springfield, and outside of Springfield can't exist within the Simpsons world. It does have that amazing metatextualness. Hank Scorpio is brilliant. The hammock fucking scene is great. It's an amazing episode. I love it. At the ending, I'm also just kind of like, guys, it's just such a fucking good gig. Just stay there. But, you know, you can't. You have to go back to status quo. That is what the show is. That is what the show needs. And The Simpsons cannot exist outside of Springfield. That's the whole point. But I think that's why I don't love that episode as much as others do. Around Springfield, I don't think it's as good. They definitely seem to be put a bit of a higher pedestal on canon-changing episodes than I personally would. I think Around Springfield's actually one of the worst episodes of season 6, if you ask me. If they have Round Springfield in here and not Lisa on Ice, that would be a criminal. This episode's fine. It's good. It's nice to see Lisa like learn about mortality and learn about like idol representation and how that matters and affects her. But it's not one of the best episodes of season 6, let alone one of the top 10 episodes of The Simpsons. Deep Space Home is a classic, wacky, crazy. One of the ones where you like look at the later episodes of The Simpsons and be like, maybe that's a bit too wacky, but no, Homer actually fucking went to space at one point. Mr. Plow, obviously. Mr. Plow is obviously like one of the best and funniest episodes. That has the best scene in any show ever. The commercial.
Mr. Simpson, I guarantee you we'll come up with a commercial that can save your business. You know those radio ads where two people with annoying voices yammer back and forth? I invented those. Happens all the time.
Dad, was that your commercial?
I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, Mr. Plow. Mr. Plow's great. I love Mr. Plow. Last Exit to Springfield's one of the best episodes. I love Last Exit. This is the dental plan one. Union one, which is pro-union, which is yay. Oh yeah, this spoof of Lisa needs braces. It also has the Yellow Submarine reference in it. Lisa goes under the anesthesia. That's the one. Has the Yellow Submarine reference in it. It's also just stupidly funny, and I love the little song that Lisa sings with the guitar when they're striking outside. Also has a Grinch parody in it. 22 Short Films About Springfield's one of my favorite episodes too. I'd put this in the top 10. This one's super clever. It's apparently based on this one movie, like 32 short films about like Charlie Gump or something weird like that. Yeah, it's got Pulp Fiction. I watched this before I ever watched Pulp Fiction. 22 Short Films About Springfield as the Pulp Fiction thing. It has the fucking steamed hams bit, so of course it's the best thing in the world. Yeah, no, this is one of my favorite episodes ever. Steamed hams alone makes this top 10. As a vegetarian, I get why people love this. It's not one of my favorite episodes. I'm not a vegetarian, but it is a really great episode. It's really sweet. Paul McCartney's in it, which is amazing and awesome, and I love that. Okay, at least Jurassic Park 6 isn't the highest rated Jurassic Park. This is the best Jurassic Park, easily. I think anyone would argue with that. Yeah, no, this is the best one. This is perfect. Everything about this is perfect. The Shining parody is perfect. The time travel one is amazing, is beautiful, and even the Nightmare Cafeteria one is really bloody and actually pretty gruesome. All of these are perfect. These are 3 of the best Trias of Horror segments all put together, and is just one of my favorite things ever. I love Trias of Horror 5. Cape Fear, obviously everyone knows Cape Fear is great. Everyone knows Cape Fear is one of the best episodes ever. It's so great. It's the best Bob episode by far. Great, yeah, parody of, it's mainly the Scorsese remake, and just slasher films in general. Bob and Luth, Sitting Bot, Death Threats, and the HMS Pinafore ending is just amazing. I love it so fucking much. This is one of the best episodes. Rosebud I also love. I would put this top 10. I love Rosebud. Great. It's the most... I watched this before ever watching Citizen Kane, like most Simpsons episodes. I saw the Simpsons episode before I saw what they actually were parodying. So when I eventually watched Citizen Kane, I got all these references. So I actually went back to watch this again, and I was like, oh, I get all the references. Yeah. Look at all the wonderful things you have, Mr. Burns. King Arthur's Excalibur, the only existent nude photo of Mark Twain, and that rare first draft of the Constitution with the word suckers in it. I love Rosebud. It's another one where I'm just like, I get the ending. You had to make the ending the way it did because that's the only way the character works and the only way the story reaches a... Also, just like fucking sell the toy, Maggie. Don't just give it to him. Or no, just Homer. Just take the toy. She's not even a year old. She'll forget about it. $1 million. Marge vs. Monorail, I get. Yeah, Marge vs. Monorail's just, yeah, not as dramatically rich as something like Rosebud, but it's just top to bottom incredibly funny. Written by I've sold monorails to Broadway, Ardenville, North Haverbrook, and by God, we put them on the map. Yeah, no, this is... I get why they put it there. I wouldn't put it this high because it's just laughs. It's just pure laughs top to bottom, but I get why they put it. Not a bad list overall. I wouldn't put that in there. But honestly, for the most part, I'm actually pretty like, I'd put this in the top 10. I'd put this in the top 10. I'd put this in the top 10. Maybe put this in the top 10. I'd definitely put this in the top 10. And maybe that, but that's a pretty solid list, actually. I'm not too mad about that. Some I would change, but, you know, it's 700 episodes. You can't make everyone happy. I'm surprised they didn't have anyone past... This is the latest one they had, was the season 11 one. I'm surprised they didn't have the Holidays of Future past